Like, I'm giving the spiel. I'm ready for it.
That's like almost identical.
I forgot what the sign. I don't even know what the sign say.
Christianity lied on Jesus.
Correct.
Yeah, what my coffee is.
Which lie you want?
What's your favorite? Go ahead.
My favorite? My favorite. I don't think you want my favorite.
I'm ready for your favorite.
You want your favorite? What's your favorite?
My favorite? I have no idea.
My favorite is who Christ died for.
Okay.
Oh, I know my favorite.
What's yours?
He ain't a white man.
So that's one. Jesus is black because the real Jews are black. And then number two, he only died for Israel.
Hebrew Israelites.
Correct.
I figured. All right.
Figured? What do you mean by that?
No, like, but as soon as you guys started talking about, well, I saw the Hebrew stuff, obviously, and then the second one.
What you believe in?
I'm a Christian myself. I'm not quite sure of the denomination yet. Since I got out of high school, I've been trying to figure that out. So I've just been kind of exploring everything. I've recently been going to a Presbyterian church and enjoying that because I'm going with my family. So, but yeah, I grew up Baptist. Yep. So just figuring it out now.
What made you change?
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing.
What made me change? I didn't necessarily change. I just started asking questions because I've only ever known what was taught in the Baptist church. But I know that we're all kind of getting slightly different things out of the same book for the most part. There's a few variations, like Catholicism is a little bit different. But I started asking the question of like, why are we getting a different conclusion from the same text? And so.
What was the answer?
I don't know yet. I don't really think I will find a concrete answer. It's one of those things where it's like every time you answer a question, 3 more come up. That's kind of how it is. But I'm enjoying the journey so far, and I think that it's something that all Christians should do. Is kind of question, why is it that you believe what you believe in? Have you ever thought about what if you're wrong? Why are other people saying different things? You know.
So, what other questions couldn't they answer?
Not necessarily that they couldn't answer. It's people have gotten their conclusions and been satisfied with them. Is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I don't know if I will ever be completely satisfied in any particular church. So like with Presbyterians, I enjoy their the way they respect the old church traditions, like infant baptism. They take the sacraments every week. Baptist. Some churches do. The church I went to is only once a month. I appreciate doing that every week as a reminder. But as I'm exploring different ones, I'm finding kind of where am I feeling confident in that I'm seeing what you're saying and it makes sense and I can cross-reference with other people. So like I said, it's a journey that I think that will continue to go on for a very long time.
And you haven't found that yet in any of the churches that you've been to?
Like I said, it's just straight out of high school, so I'm very new to this journey, but just trying to look through the lens of the Bible and see where it takes me from there. So.
No, I feel you, because that's why I left the church, because they didn't have no answers.
Yeah. And you found answers in this one?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I found answers. The answers were in the Bible, but they were the only ones who could actually break it down according to the word. Everybody else would be like, oh, well, that's the mysteries, or pray on it, or it wouldn't be a succinct answer. It would always be something vague and ambiguous.
Sure.
So, if I could, are you a Republican?
I don't really like calling myself Republican at this point because the parties are shifting so much constantly, especially recently. So conservative is really just where I put myself. I'm registered Republican because that's where most of my conservative values align. But I wouldn't really publicly go like, oh, I'm a Republican and that's who I am. I don't really want to put that label because it's just always changing, you know?
So you're conservative. So how you feel about your religious beliefs going with your political beliefs?
That's like I was saying, it aligns more with conservatism and republicanism. For me, the most important thing is the sanctity of life. That's what matters most to me, is that we're protecting the unborn, and most Republicans are in line with that. So that's my biggest thing, and also,
What do you disagree with them about?
With Republicans?
Yeah, because I know a lot of Republicans, it's easy for them. I won't say easy, but I say it again, but most of them, they get far right, and they have like the Christian nationalism movement. How you feel about that?
Christian nationalism movement, I think that a lot of it isn't completely understood very well. I think it's confused often with white nationalism. I think they need to be separated entirely. And I kind of wish that people made that distinction more often. In terms of the American lens, Christian nationalism to me is understanding that America was built on the foundations of Christianity and it cannot be separated. It wasn't necessarily that it was built on just European values or just white values. It was that it was built as a Christian nation, and those are the values that are important, not about your skin color at all.
In 1776?
I believe so, yeah. I believe that whenever they were writing the foundations of what America is, they were looking at it from a biblical lens in the sense of this is what we believe is best for the people.
So chattel slavery is what Christ wanted?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that whenever people were doing wrong things that they were always looking from the lens of the Bible. I'm saying is that when it came to, you know, the basic foundations of our country of freedom of speech, of freedom of religion, you know, upholding the family value and
But it was only for a certain group of people.
At the time, unfortunately, yeah.
But the people that they was enslaved, though, you know, they was Christians too.
I'm sure, yeah, a lot of them were Christian, absolutely.
But then even with what you said, so freedom of religion is a Christian value?
Depends on which Christian group you're asking.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because Christ said, I am the way, the truth, the life. No man gets to the Father except through me. That's very limited access. So absolutely. I don't understand how that means Buddha's out. You know what I'm saying? That means Krishna, Shiv, Shinu, you know, all these people are out.
Whenever they were writing freedom of religion, they were looking at it from the lens of this is whenever Catholicism and Protestantism in Europe was making a major divide, and they didn't want that to be a reason for, you know, fighting in the initial stages of America.
Which leads to the next layer of my question, because Catholicism had something called the Doctrine of Discovery, and they wrote papal vues in which they said that the whole world needs to be conquered and civilized under Christianity, which is how you have them enslaving and then genociding the indigenous. You know what I'm saying? So I don't read Christ forcing any conversion on anybody, and so it's like it's very confusing to me when you say something along the lines of freedom of religion being a Christian mind state, because you know what I'm saying, like my people in Puerto Rico were burned at the stake, you know what I'm saying, if they didn't, you know, accept Christianity. You know what I'm saying? His people inside of America, you know what I'm saying, lost limbs and arms and so on and so forth, you know what I'm saying, which I'd never seen Christ force his belief on anyone.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but again, I'm going to go back to what I was saying before, whenever they were talking about that it was a division of how we're viewing the Bible in terms of Catholicism, Protestantism, and how we're going to view that. And also, the fall of man, as we all know, has led us to contort and twist the Bible in unimaginable ways. I mean, people justified slavery for so long using the Bible, and we both know, because we studied the Bible, that's not how it should be viewed at all. That's not how slavery was justified at all.
But yeah, when you say like this country was built on the principle of like Christianity, right?
I believe that the core foundations was built on Christian values.
And you believe that Jesus Christ loves everybody, right? So like John 3:16, for God so loved the world, for whosoever should believe on him, right? You know, when they wrote the Constitution, they wrote all these different things, they had the exact same verbiage. Like all men are created equal. But yet in practice, it wasn't that.
But God also gave us the free will to discover him ourselves and to choose to love him.
You gotta break down that free will. I know a lot of people say it, but from somebody that came from the people that was enslaved, they never had free will. Like white people have free will. Like those founding fathers, they had free will. They woke up and decided what they was gonna do today. White people couldn't just wake up and be like, well, yeah, I'm gonna take off. So when you say free will, I really don't know.
I'm talking about the free will to choose to love Christ as he has loved us.
Okay, so who would you say loved Christ more? The people that was enslaved or the people that was enslaving them?
I wouldn't be able to answer that question at all. That's depending on the person. That's not something that you can really divide like that.
What she just said is interesting. It's depending on the person, right?
Yeah.
Because, okay, I wanna divide people for a second, right? And I want to divide specific groups of people, because Asians can be Christian and there are Asian Christians, right? Africans can be Christians and there are African Christians. White people can be Christians and they're all white Christians, right? When that book got in every single one of their hands, I didn't see Asians make an Asian version of Jesus and then go try to enslave everybody underneath the Bible and underneath that form of Christianity. I didn't see Africans do that. I didn't see East Indians do that. There's only one specific group of people that I saw do that.
The group of Chinese Christians is incredibly small, so I don't know how you would expect them to create an entire government of Christianity and have that play out.
But what I'm saying is, even with the Bible inside their hand, even if you want to look at their entire nation, I'm watching them colonize nations right now without firing a bullet. I'm watching them buy up, you know, fishing rights of different countries. I mean, they own Jamaica right now. You know what I mean? And they did it, you know, like when they came here, they had to kill all the buffalo to destroy the food supply of the North American Indians. You know what I'm saying? Then they get to the other side, and then they nuke Japan once they get to the Pacific. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, there are different people, but when the Bible got in the hands of Europeans, Britons, Americans, they slaughtered everybody under the guise of it.
Like in the Crusades and all that?
I mean, we can go with the Crusades, we can go with the Inquisition, we can go with chattel slavery, we can go with, once we get to America, we can go with the Trail of Tears. Like, we could just keep inserting more and more things. I mean, even present day, when this is supposed to be a Christian nation, right?
It's supposed to be, it's definitely not.
Right, but how many, like, you know what I'm saying, so-called Mexican immigrants, you know what I'm saying, when Texas used to be Mexico, are Christians that they just throw in a cage? Clearly they don't love their fellow Christian enough to even share America with them.
And like you said, when they said freedom of religion, it was between who? Catholics and what, Protestants? Mexicans are Catholics.
So now you're getting into borders, and I'm kind of confused as to where the conversation is going.
Because now it goes to our next point.
Okay, go ahead.
Christians in America do not believe that Jesus Christ loves everybody. You know how I know? Because when they think about it in their mind, it's only American citizens. Like, if you tell me that Jesus Christ loves everybody, for God so loved the world, but then you have a problem with a Mexican come over here and he doesn't have the right paperwork, then you don't believe in that.
You ever see that video when they ask, could Christ come to America? And they said if he had the right paperwork.
That's what they believe in. So that's why I said you don't really believe in the Bible, you believe in America and use the Bible to like push your agenda. And that's what the founding fathers did. They didn't believe in the Bible. They just know like this is a good tool we could use to get our point across, because they said these things while still enslaving somebody else. What is it, Benjamin Franklin? He said, rebellion to tyranny is obedience to God. Freedom by owning slaves. Hypocrisy.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, the fallen people have used the Bible in terrible ways. I've had so many debates with people trying to use the Bible to somehow justify abortion, and it fails every single time. But I'm saying is like people use the Bible in terrible ways all the time, in ways that was never intended. But that doesn't mean that it's the problem of Christianity or of Jesus, and especially, you know, not that, but it's the problem of those people, because they are fallen, they are, you know.
Yeah, I got you, but earlier you said something about this country being founded on Christian principles.
The idea of it, yeah.
Yeah, what you mean by the idea of it? Because when we look back, there's no idea of it as biblically sound.
Compared to other countries where, you know, say in China where you have like the one-child policy, I'm going to keep, abortion's my big thing, that's why I'm going to keep going to it. I apologize for that.
No, we're against abortion.
Wonderful. Glad we're on the same page there. You know, that's certainly not a Christian nation. I forgot the point I was going to there. I got distracted with the abortion.
Well, I get you. Most people make the point of saying that if they had to look around, America's the best place to live in. We're better than everybody else. America's only justified because you compare it to other countries. You don't do that with anything else. Now, if a man hits you in the face, be like, man, listen, I'm hitting you right now. Your ex used to do worse things to you. I'm better than him. You're not going to be like, nah, bro, you still hitting me.
Yeah, of course, this country definitely could use a lot of work. I'm not saying that it shouldn't.
What work do you think it needs, though? Because if the majority of people in this country are Christians, then what?
I don't think the majority are truly Christian. Majority of people that say they're Christian don't even go to church every week or every other week. It's twice a week kind of people.
Okay, so what do you think is the best year America was in, its golden years?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
So if the founding fathers and the earliest presidents of this country said, kill the Indian, save the man, committed acts of genocide, owned millions of slaves, were they really Christian?
I believe they could have been, yeah. You and I can do horrendous things and still be saved. I think that we all are aware of that.
So you could, okay, even if I was
if they live in a place that tells them this is what we should be getting from the Bible, like what else?
So,
and I'm not saying that that's right for them to do, but I'm saying is that I can't say that those people are definitely not Christians because they own slaves. I don't think that's true, and they're definitely not in our place to say.
Are you, can I ask you a question? Do you agree with the beliefs of Charlie Kirk?
I'd say for the most part, yeah, him and I would align. Particular questions, like, do you have any questions in particular?
I just asked because a lot of like the way you basically you're saying that because these people did bad things, that I don't know if they're saved or not, or they really was Christians or not, which is a crazy thing to say, because Christ said you should know them by their fruits.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely. You and I can be the most devout Christians in the world, still sin, but that doesn't deny the fact that we can still be saved by the grace of God.
Okay, now this is the issue that I'm having, right? And which is why Christianity is, whatever that science says, is false. Because it leaves you in a box, right? You're saying that these men who owned slaves and was brutal men, you can't say if they was Christians or not, then you have no right to talk about people who's aborting their children.
Is what?
Who's aborting their children. Do you think
No,
that,
I'm not going to sit there and say that those people aren't Christians. I would never do that.
see, that's the problem.
I am connected with a lot of pregnancy centers, and there's so many prayer requests we get saying, this woman is a Christian, she's considering abortion, pray that God speaks to her in her life. I don't doubt that a lot of these people are genuine Christians.
And that's the issue, because you're saying that they could do evil things and still be a Christian.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. That's why Christianity is a farce and a lie, because Christians don't really follow the Bible. How could you say you're a follower of Christ and then do the opposite or do evil when he told you not to do evil?
That's
you get what I'm saying?
literally the entirety of what Christianity is that we are a fallen people. That the fall of man caused us to
basically
have
Christianity
sin.
is justify sin.
That's what I'm
it
redeems
translates.
Sin. It redeems sin, does not justify it.
Well, it doesn't sound like anybody's...
Christ justified our sin on the cross.
It doesn't sound like anybody's really necessarily being redeemed. Okay, do you believe in justice?
Through God, yeah.
Okay, captivity is another word for slavery, right? And blacks, Latinos, Native Indians, the indigenous Latinos, that is, were taken into captivity from Europeans, right? Would you agree with that statement?
In America, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, through the slave trade.
So then this is Revelations 13, right? So then it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. Now that sounds like justice to me. So if this nation was leading people into captivity, in Revelations, the last book of the Bible, what does it say should happen to them?
That they would be led in captivity. Again, I'll reiterate this, is that Christ redeems sin, does not necessarily justify it. If somebody does not come to Christ, they are going to end up facing that in hell. But if they believe and love Christ, then he pays that sin for them on the cross.
So if the slave master, right? If the slave master was horrible, had slaves, first of all, never freed them, never redeemed them, you know what I'm saying? Enforced all the Barbadian slave codes on them, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Is he going to hell, or does he get salvation dying in that wickedness?
That depends on if he came to Christ or not.
So at what point of him being a slave master could he have come to Christ? What does a slave owner coming to Christ look like?
Accepting the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior and allowing him to forgive you of your sins.
So, please.
Well, I have a scripture I want to get real quick. Someone give me that Christ in
Count me
this
out.
person.
Right here.
She's feeling the pressure now.
I'm not. I just have people that are waiting for me.
I can see why America's about to lose that country now.
Right.
I see it. It's like with your religion, it's like a mediocre religion, right? It doesn't force somebody to change. It can't change anybody, which is why you're having a hard time stopping people from killing their children. Like, if you want people to stop killing their children, stop aborting their babies, you have to demand perfection from them. I'm gonna read the scripture right here, okay? This is in Galatians, the 2nd chapter. It says, but if while we seek to be justified by Christ, which Christians do, we're justified by Christ, he nailed it to the cross, I don't have to do nothing, I'm justified. We ourselves also are found sinners. Is therefore Christ the minister of sin? God forbid. Christianity makes Christ the minister of sin. And is he? God forbid, right? Verse 18, for if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. So that's what Christianity teaches. That's why you're having a hard time trying to make sure people stop killing their children, because why should they? I believe Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I'm still going to kill my baby next week.
So no, that one, again, is going back to the people that say they're Christians but don't actually go to church. Because if they go to a church that actually believes and reads their Bible...
They go to church. Some churches have abortion clinics. What, Planned Parenthood, that's what it's called? Churches sponsor Planned Parenthood.
And they are not truly reading the Bible with the intention of understanding what the Holy Spirit was inspiring there. You're looking at it from a selfish heart because you cannot.
Well, you can't say that though.
Just like the slave master.
Yeah, because just like the slave master, you don't know their heart. You don't know what their truly heart. You don't know where their heart is at. We are fallen men. We fall. We all come short.
What I'm saying is, if somebody is using the Bible to justify abortion, they are completely.
It can't be though. You can't say that because they use the Bible to justify slavery. You said I don't know.
They were wrong entirely in it.
But are they saved?
If they come to Christ, yes. I believe that somebody who kills their child through abortion can still come to Christ.
What do you mean by come to Christ?
Can ask the Lord for His forgiveness.
Okay, what if they go and sin again?
And still, Christ is already. He said it is done.
So basically, grace is a license to sin.
Right.
Slave masters can get the kingdom of heaven.
They don't truly understand their salvation.
And
That's
then the
the
slaves have to go to the same heaven with the slave master.
That's a lot. That's
Christianity.
That don't sound like the gospel to the people that's getting harmed. Remember when Christ said that He wanted to go speak to the captives, right? What would you tell a captive? What would be the gospel to a captive?
All the gospels are going to be the same for no matter what experience you go through.
There's a reason why He said captive.
Even those that were in captive had the ability to sin and did sin because they were fallen men, just as much as the slave was also fallen, and both of them could come to Christ.
What I'm saying is this: Christ said, "I have came to set the captives free." Free from what?
From sin. You think they were talking specifically to slaves?
Exactly.
Like slaves of white men.
Exactly.
That's exactly the only people they're talking to.
No, it's talking about the children of Israel who was in bondage under them.
During the time of Egypt?
During the time of all the time. Well, Christ wasn't in the time of Egypt. Time of Rome. Then fast forward right here because it's the living word, right? So, like for example, like you ever heard about Nat Turner? Nat Turner was a man who read the Bible, right? And he started reading it. He's like, man, this story is talking about us. He led a slave revolt for being a Christian, just like Moses did. Moses led a slave revolt. That's what Moses did. You know what Christians did when Nat Turner did what he did? They ate him for being a Christian. Nat Turner, in my opinion, was the greatest American to ever live. He had the American values. He rebelled, and he was a Christian. He read the Bible, and it made him do the correct thing, just like Moses did. And they ate him for it. Ate him. So this country was never founded on Christian values. Nat Turner came close to it. If y'all listen to Nat Turner, y'all probably would have been a Christian nation. But they ate him. They ate him. So what we're saying is, please come here.
So there's like a couple things. For example, if we're saying like about the captivity thing, right? Could we also say that police officers are sinning for people being put in jail?
I would make a
I mean, technically they were being put in captivity, right? It's like, I guess it was.
Yeah, I would argue.
I mean, if you're a prisoner, right, you would want to, that's against your will, like you wouldn't want to be in there, right?
I would agree that that police officers are hypocritical to America's idea of we all under Christ, because y'all believe that we're not under the Moses law, right? Christ nailed it to the cross, right? We're not supposed to be weaponizing Moses law, but police officers go and harm people for doing what? Breaking the law. I thought we was all free under Jesus Christ. Now this is what most people tell me, brother, this is America, we got laws. So all I know is that you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you believe in America. I want to agree with you. I wish it was
from here.
Well, you're not. Well, I'm talking about. Where you from?
Chile.
Okay.
But the other thing that I was wondering is like, if you're saying like the country wasn't built like on Christianity, right? On the real God, right? In your opinion. I feel like we could kind of put it in perspective of like a little kid, right? In that time, the best they knew was what they had, right? They were raised with that. That's with those values that they had back then, right?
Like
they thought
value?
Slavery was okay, for example, right? That's one of the values they had back in the day when, the Constitution was signed or whatever, right? We can say that.
For those specific people, not everybody, not the people that was enslaving. They never had that. They didn't grow up with that.
Well, yeah, of course, that's
like
true.
the people that came, the
right.
indigenous.
But, the people that were signing the Constitution, right? That were actually building the country, founding fathers, right? The ones that were enslaved. They were like kids. The best they knew is what they did. They did what they thought was best And I think in a way God sees them, and He forgives for that. You know, that maybe, you know, if a kid steals something, you're gonna put him in jail. They don't know better. And I feel like maybe when they were kind of signing the Constitution, they did the best that they could with what they have and what they knew. And maybe it isn't the best of today's beliefs of what you and me know from the Bible, but because we've grown as people, we've learned more about the Bible, we've become, also social media has become something where we are able to see other people's perspective from across the world. You know, what we know is a lot more than what they knew back then when they were signing the Constitution.
Okay, so they did know better. I'm gonna explain why, right? Do you know how the Constitution came about? Meaning that these founding fathers, they rebelled against Great Britain. You know what they rebelled against Great Britain for?
Taxes.
Taxes. They called it tyranny. They felt as though they was being oppressed. Now, if you take this child who understands that they don't want to get taxed and it feels like it's oppression, and you say they can't understand that, hey, I don't like getting taxed, but I'm sure gonna beat this slave today. They don't know better?
Well,
that's a question you have to ask. You telling me that you're mad about being taxed, you're mad about being oppressed, then you're gonna go and oppress another people and want forgiveness.
So
whatever.
Also, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, the scripture says this: whatever you have did to the least of my brethren is going to happen to you.
wait, say that one more time?
The scriptures say this: whatever have you done to the least of my brethren is going to happen to you. So when those slave masters was beating their back, they was beating Jesus Christ back in. What would Jesus Christ do?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and I don't know how we're calling these grown ass men, you know what I'm saying, kids.
I
started the whole
understand that, but
They were
like,
in their, they were actually, they were kids. A lot of them were in their early 20s.
That's called, you know what it's called? White privilege.
Yeah, like I'm saying we're calling them kids as if this country isn't built on the foundation of not only, like, you know what I'm saying, like what they instituted, but like people don't study this in school up to present day. You know what I'm saying? Like the very institution in which that they created. So if that's the case, then nobody would value what. This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is nobody in America would then value the American Constitution. Nobody in America would then value Thomas Paine's common sense. Nobody in America, you know what I'm saying, would look back at all the literature and everything that was put down if they just acted like, these guys were just kids. They didn't know what they were doing.
When I said they're like kids, I mean, it's like that's the best
the culture
that they knew.
But this is what I'm going to bring it back to abortion again. Sorry. I allude to the civil rights movement a lot whenever I debate about abortion with my peers, because a lot of it is about the culture that we are told in the dehumanization of real people. We saw this literally in laws when they said that a black person is only 5/8 of a real person. Quite literally saying, yeah, it's a human, but it's just not human enough. It's the same exact thing going on with abortion, where
and these
people
are the same
saying,
Christians.
Sure. So what I'm saying here is that I would not blame a woman right now for getting an abortion because that's what she's told she's supposed to do. I'm not going to sit here and say you're
no better.
She's told this is your right, just how white people are told this is your right. I'm not going to go get mad at a woman for that. I'm going to lead her to Christ and pray that she's healed from that hurt. You know? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
What make her aborting her baby means she's not with Christ?
I'm saying is that if she's not with Christ, leading her, showing her she is forgiven for that action.
What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is, how are you going to say she's not with Christ for committing a sin like everybody did? Jesus Christ died for all sins.
I'm not saying that she might not be a Christian at the time, but I'm saying is leading her back to Christ, saying you are forgiven, because there's so many women
You see
that
that
get
part you said, right?
abortions.
You said leading her back to Christ.
Yes, because every time you said you were turning your face from Christ and choosing to do something that is idolizing anything but Him.
But you just got done saying that that's human nature.
Yes, it is, which is why, again, I'm not blaming her for the things that she was told of the world.
See, this is my issue I have with a lot of white people talking about abortion, right? I think it's hypocritical. The only reason why white people really hate abortion is with their people. This is
That is an insane thing to say, because majority of abortions are done to black people. I don't want them erasing their own race. Like, that is terrible.
You know how they did it?
How?
You have no idea.
Margaret Sanger, that was for eugenics, that created Planned Parenthood. I'm completely against that.
It started with the Negro Project.
Yes, it did, and I hate that. So, no, I don't really see how you're saying it's against our own people.
The only place I seen Planned Parenthood out here was across the street from a black college.
Exactly. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make here. Is that why would you say that it's only against?
No, what I'm saying is this. I mean, it's not. What I'm saying is, they frame, the conservatives, they frame abortion as they hate it because it's against God.
I make a completely secular argument. Every single time I have these debates, it's completely secular.
Yeah, most people, you know why they hate abortion? They hate it because the fear that their race is becoming extinct.
I genuinely have lost all respect for this conversation at this point.
What I'm saying is a fact. I'm not making this up. It's not like I'm saying like.
I'm telling you it's not a fact because this is something that I genuinely, my entire life is built on at this point. My entire career has changed because of my passion for this.
Yeah.
And so you saying that, when I can tell you as a fact from my own perspective that is completely absurd.
You might be doing it for the right reasons.
Okay,
but
so now it's possible.
No, this is what I'm explaining, right? Meaning that people are just pawns to a bigger game, right? So like you look up to people who act as if they share your same belief, your same sentiment, when they're doing it for completely different reasons. It's like a dog whistle. Like we say something out loud, see how people's gonna bite with it. We're gonna get people who really care about this issue, and I'm gonna use them to benefit me. So somebody like you like, man, yeah, I hate when women gotta abort their babies. So somebody in the conservative movement might use you to push their agenda. They don't really care because it's against God. That's not what they're doing it. Why? Because these conservatives are sinners. You're saying that abortion is bad because God said, but yet I'm going to harm the stranger. That's wrong too. There's a lot of things that conservatives do that's against God. So sin is sin. There's no sin above the other, right? So what I'm saying is if I take that conclusion that they say they hate this because God said so, yet they're doing other things that God say don't do and they still do it, and you're not really hating abortion because God said it. You hate abortion for another reason. Now what's that reason?
So like I said, whenever I'm debating abortion, it's completely from a secular argument until you get into the philosophical, why are humans important? Why are they valuable? And so then it absolutely gets into, what you believe is how humans were made. From my perspective, it's humans are valuable because they're image bearers of God. But that might look different for other people. So other people might just look at it as, well, humans have, this,
So where's the value for illegal immigrants in this Christian country?
I don't want them to abort their children either. What's the...
What I'm saying is, but it's okay for them and their children to be put in cages?
No, obviously not. So you're...
America believes that. America does it.
I don't know if I should say something.
Go for it.
No, bruh. I don't like being recorded. It's not my favorite. But, I mean, I'm a legal immigrant here. And maybe I can tell you a little bit of my story. Maybe you can maybe think about it from a different perspective. What perspective? So is this perspective? Hold on. I'm just telling you my story, and then maybe you can tell me.
I got you, but what I'm saying is, you telling me this, are you telling me this to justify the illegal immigrants who are in ICE cages?
No. Well, okay, I think nobody should be put in a cage ever, right? But at the end of the day, if you trespass anywhere, you're going to jail. You're gonna get put in jail. It's the same cage, different place.
But
you're just getting sent back to your country.
This is...
You did something illegal, didn't you?
This is what's... It's basically whoever is the winner, it's okay. And this is what I mean by that.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think you'd like it if I went to Mexico and said, I'm gonna go, be a part of them, go vote in their stuff, and go, spread my whatever beliefs there.
I don't like it, but that's what you did when you came to the shores of America. You came to the shores of America, you took, your people, took the natives, slaughtered them, forced them to become Christian, stripped their language, stripped their culture, and then forced their ways on them. And then, as you started to go, you kept shrinking Mexico. Hold on one second. Shrunk Mexico, shrunk Mexico, shrunk Mexico. But here's the difference, though. Number one, we're not only in this country, but this entire conversation has started with the people were Christians. So it's Christians who's doing this. And when I go inside the Bible doesn't condone this behavior. So technically, these people you're calling Christians, they disobey Christ. They hate Christ. They don't love Christ because they hate their brother. You know what I'm saying? And then now,
how do they hate their brother?
They hate their brother because they're supposed to be a Christian nation. So if Donald Trump is a Christian, how is he supposed to treat? How is he supposed to treat a Christian? If he's not a Christian, who is a Christian? What was Joe Biden Christian?
He says he's a Catholic, but
But I mean, you're trying to make this a Christian nation. Like, what was the whole reason as to why
What
Trump?
do you want for this nation?
Hold on. What was the whole reason as to why you understand Trump bombed Nigeria on Christmas Day? You remember? He said because they were killing Christians over there. So he cares about the Christians over in Nigeria, but he doesn't care about all the Mexicans that's Christian, but they're immigrants, when meanwhile, they're just trying to get back into the land that they stole. You're at the Alamo right now. Do you know the history of the Alamo? What's the history of the Alamo?
We were talking about that.
it's the
Yeah.
Texas Revolution.
Okay, so
We were
explain
talking
it
about
to
that
me.
earlier.
Is that this was where they had the battle during the Texas Revolution. I'm not super
What was the battle over?
over the land.
For what?
For,
Whose land was it?
It was initially the Mexicans.
It was originally now. What happened that transpired that had these so-called Texans feel like they had to take this land from Mexico? Was it for a righteous cause? I'm explaining it to you. Mexico outlawed slavery. The white slave owners said, "Fuck that. We want our slaves. So the only way is for us to not have your government over this land." So they went and fought so they could continue slavery inside of Texas. Made it a republic to the point where if you've ever seen that sliver of land above Texas and Oklahoma, where it just looks like Texas should be extended, Texas gave that up so it would be below the Mason-Dixon line. That's how much these white Texans wanted slavery. So everything that we're talking about that comes from these people who were Christians was evil. All of it was the opposite of what God said.
Well, we see the same thing today.
Because this is Babylon. This is an evil place, and they're not really serving Christ.
Evil is everywhere.
No. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So you can't now turn around and then tell me that they're the disciples of Christ. So you mean to tell me disciples of Christ are evil?
Well, they can be. Because
They're
a lot of them don't follow the actual Bible. Because a lot of them sin. A lot of them don't
get
go
me in
to the
James where it
actual...
says if you sin, you're of the devil. This is my problem with Christianity. Y'all have justified, this is what's amazing. Every time I bring up a white sin, y'all find a way to justify it and say they can be saved. And as soon as I brought up, hold on, as soon as I brought up, check this out though. As soon as I brought up illegal immigrants, you know what the first thing you said was? They committed a crime. Crime is wrong.
In the illegal part.
Do y'all see the problem?
Is that there's a consequence to.
I came
Okay.
here illegally. Why is it fair for somebody else to come in without paying? Because, mind you, that's what I was trying to tell you.
But then you're a Christian brother.
I came in here. The same Christian brother that could have done a shooting over there somewhere, who knows, got put in jail. Why is this one that's trespassing into a country
The same Christian
getting
brother
into
that
jail?
could be picking the fruit that y'all don't want to pick. Why do you have to go straight to the crime? Like for somebody who spoke against Donald Trump, you sure know his arguments against Mexicans. You got that
I'm
scripture?
Hispanic, of course.
This 1 John.
I'm super informed on the
Chapter-
whole illegal
What does that
immigration.
say?
1 John chapter 3 verse 8. He that committeth sin is of the devil.
Is what?
Is of the devil.
So now, you cannot be.
denying
Can
that.
you be of Christ and of the devil at the same time?
No, hence why I was like saying, turning back to Christ, forgiving of that sin, and continuing to walk in the ways of.
But
the
you
Lord.
couldn't see that earlier when I said, when did the slave master turn back to Christ?
And I said at any point that he turns back to Christ.
And when I asked you, what does that look like? You said you don't know.
Because well, who are you talking about? Like this is some hypothetical imaginary guy.
So
you
in
want me
that,
to pinpoint.
and you had the opportunity to create a hypothetical to express to me what that looks like, and you failed in it.
You want me to say, right before he died, or like a year before he, like, what are you wanting me to?
It's not about what I want. It was about you using your own critical thinking inside of your faith to be able to express what that looks like, and instead you dismissed it. However, y'all are very succinct when it comes down to punishing Mexicans.
Or Guatemalans, or anybody that comes here.
Anybody that
illegal
comes in
immigrant.
illegally, yeah.
Because that's the
If I
real
said-
crime.
That's why you-
and being spring in the
And
back to where they.
that's why your country's going to fall. And remember, I thought I was just making this up. You're scared of immigrants come over here, and we're against white abortion. I'm not saying you personally. This is the rhetoric. Now you add those two up. More immigrants come over here, and white people are aborting their babies. Why are they so nervous about that?
Who is?
The people, the higher ups. The higher ups. We're gonna say the higher. We would say the white.
Everybody on Epstein's list.
No, they hate it. No, they're scared of it. the white replacement theory. I think Roosevelt talked about this. Roosevelt was saying that, man, these white women gotta have more babies or we're gonna be replaced. We can't let white people get replaced in America. So for y'all to sit here and say that these Latinos are coming over here and crossing the border illegally, which is not even a crime, is a civil offense. Look it up right now. Is being here illegally a crime?
Illegally?
Yeah, look it up. Look it up right now. I'm gonna see your face. Look it up.
Illegally?
Yeah, look it up. Get your phone out. You have a phone?
You got it.
All right, type in, is being here illegally a crime or is it a civil offense?
Can I tell you a little bit about my
So,
story?
I'm gonna try. So you ever got a speeding?
Can I tell
One second, I got you. Let me finish this. One second. You ever got a speeding ticket?
Nope.
You ever got a speeding ticket?
Nope.
What if you had a friend that got, if somebody got a speeding ticket, should they go out the country
No, they get put in a cage
for having a speeding ticket?
because they are from this country. If I get a speeding ticket in my country, because I'm from there, I'm gonna stay there.
No, what I'm asking is, right now in America, if somebody gets a speeding ticket, should they go get shipped somewhere else?
No, because they're from America.
No.
But if you're illegal, then yeah, get
What
them back home.
what is a speeding ticket? Is it a crime?
Yes.
Y'all gotta research, man. Let's research right now. I'm gonna see our face right now.
There's a limit and you're crossing it. Of course it's a crime.
You gotta read the law. She's gonna read it right now. You gotta get a little study more.
Can you go to jail? Can you get a fine?
You can read it right
For
now.
a speeding
Just
ticket?
listen.
Yes,
This was gonna happen.
It is a crime.
This was gonna happen.
No, this is basic. What?
Listen. This read Google. Don't take my word for it. Take Google. She probably already seen it already. That's why it's taking so
Making no
long.
sense.
No, hold on, I'm
You're looking for an alternative.
I'll read it for
I
you.
need another answer.
I'll read it for you. I'll pull it up.
No,
Right?
go for it.
It says, under U.S. federal law, merely being in the country without legal authorization, such as expired visa or undocumented presence, is a civil offense, not a criminal one. It's not a crime.
Is it still right?
Yes, you know why?
Is it correct?
It is correct. You know why? Because without illegal immigration, America won't even be a country. That's how America was founded, and that's
When they were first conquering the land. Yeah.
that's a Christian principle, though, right? Is that a Christian principle?
Okay, can I tell you a little bit?
Illegal immigration is a Christian principle.
Right. Okay. Let me
You
tell
gotta
you a
agree with
little
that,
bit.
though.
Can we look at this?
You have
from
to
another
agree.
perspective? Give me a
Hold
sec.
up. I got one
I
second.
gave you a sec though.
And
Right?
this is what we gotta do too. The illegal immigrants coming over here, we have to look at them as just kids.
This is fine.
We have to look at them as just kids. The illegal immigrants coming across the border, they're just kids. It's just the time we're in right
They
now.
do know that they're doing something.
No, they
illegal.
don't. It's the time we're in right now. Everybody crossed the border. This is their life right now. They're kids. Remember you told me that those men who had slaves, it was that time, there was kids? Remember she said that? These are legal immigrants.
People are being led by like the culture of the moment. It happens all the time. And
They don't
Christians go
understand. They're
insane.
kids.
Just like how today we have OnlyFans and all these other sexual
They're
sins
kids.
that
Let's just
people
turn-
normalize.
listen.
Back then they normalized slavery.
Just like you told me, would you throw a kid in jail? So these illegal immigrants, they literally kids thrown in jail. You told me they would never throw a kid in jail. These illegal immigrants are literally kids being thrown in
You
jail.
didn't get my point with that. I was saying that it was like. Can I tell you something? I came here, right? This is my
You
story.
ain't gonna find it either. I told you. Just
I'm
still-
not-
I'm reading
story,
it right now,
right?
trying to get to the part that you're looking for. So.
I came here. You know how much I have to pay the lawyer every year to be in this country? Today,
How much?
22K. My dad had to work his ass off to make those 22K for me to be in this country. Is it fair for someone else to come in for free?
So what you have is,
You know what I mean? Why do I have permission, right? Because let's say I buy a house, I go and I pay for the house, someone comes in and trespasses. Do you think I'm gonna be happy about that? No, because I paid for it and now they're living for free in my house.
guys, did you just hear what you just said? I'm gonna tell you the paradox y'all in. It's this.
I don't know, it doesn't make sense
You
to
came
me.
over this country, I'm gonna just tell you what you believe in, right? You came to this country, you gotta do it the legal way, and the legal way costs you so much money.
Yes.
And your
because
dad
it's
worked
the
so
right
hard
way.
for it. Now you have
The
people.
legal way is the right way.
Right. The legal way is the right way. That's what you believe, right? But you don't believe that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because now you're mad at your own people for doing it the illegal way. When those illegal people are more American than you. Because the people who started this country did it the illegal way. And y'all love
Say it in a
America.
nicer.
No, I'm talking about the founding fathers of America. Do you love this country?
Of course.
Okay, how was this country founded?
By this, like,
By illegal immigration.
I mean, if you want to call it that, then
So
sure.
listen, I'm trying to make a better
But it
country.
was
Are we trying to make
land
America
that
better?
wasn't claimed at that moment.
Are we trying to make America
That's how
better?
everything
So
happened
how
in
could you have
Europe.
illegal immigration in America when there was no
No
actual government?
Yeah,
Who
it was no
hold on,
government
hold-
set.
hold up, pause. Do you know what the Constitution was adopted from? It was adopted from the way the indigenous was living on the land. That's where they took it from. They seen how these people lived at the land. They're like, man, this is a good way they living out here. They got laws and structure. Let's adopt this. So it was wrong. And listen, and y'all are Christians. It's against God to do that in the Bible. So you said there was no laws. The Bible was written at that time, right?
They're supposed to be Christians.
Christians. They just conquered though. Conquering is a Christian value. Listen, I guess the Latinos are just conquering right now. Can't get mad at them, right?
There's already a set government. You're going against the...
Was it not a set government when these people came over here? What made it even worse is this. I'm gonna tell you why America sucks at being Christian.
I think the natives were just naked savages running around like beasts.
The natives.
You're okay with anybody coming in the country at any time.
Exactly.
That's your point. Like you literally,
What's the correct way? Is the correct way the way my people got to this country?
My point. Go ahead, finish that.
Is that the correct way?
I don't know. Well, it was different back then.
You know how my people came to this country? On ships. See, this whole entire rhetoric, which is why I hate it, is because America does not hate immigration. Without immigration, America would just fall under and collapse.
I don't hate immigration. I hate illegal immigration.
Yeah.
Listen, without illegal immigration, America would collapse.
Again, there was no legal or illegal in that land at the time.
And what?
There was no legal or illegal immigration laws at the time. There wasn't.
According to who?